Hello viewers. Today we will try to answer a very interesting question. What I have taken here is the same cross-sectional dimension T section as in previous short video. And now instead of specifying the amount of steel on tension side, let us ask ourselves a question. What is the steel that is required to be provided on tension side to make this section balanced? One. And second, what is the moment of resistance of this section if it is designed as balanced section? So for that, the first step that we are going to do is estimate the location of neutral axis for balanced section from extreme compression fiber. That is XUB. XUB will be equal to KUB multiplied by D. KUB for Fe415, we know it is 0.48 multiplied by D is 500 here. Therefore, XUB is at 240 mm from extreme compression fiber. So for XUB equal to 240 mm, I have drawn the bending strain distribution diagram of the section. So as we can see, the bending strain distribution diagram on concrete side is parabolic and then rectangular. We have already calculated the distance up to which the bending stress distribution diagram is going to be rectangular, and that is 3/7 XUB. 3/7 XUB with this value of XUB turns out to be 102.85 mm. What it means is from extreme compression fiber up to the distance of 102.85 mm, we are going to have constant value of stress, that is 0.446 FCK. And then the parabolic variation of stress starts and the stress in concrete becomes zero at neutral axis, that is at the distance of 240 mm from extreme compression fiber. So therefore, this distance is 240 mm. Now we have a problem here, because if you look at the flange, the entire flange does not carry constant value of stress 0.446 FCK up to 102.85, that is somewhere here. The value of stress is 0.446 FCK. So up to this level, which is at 102.85, the stress in concrete is 0.446 FCK. But then the parabolic variation of stress starts. So on the remaining portion of the flange, the stress is reducing than 0.446 FCK. So to ease out our analysis, IS 456/2000 suggests us to convert this section into an equivalent section such that it has the depth of flange as YF. This YF is calculated such that over which I can safely assume 0.446 FCK to be constant, 0.446 FCK to be constant. So the stress block at failure will look something like this: rectangular up to YF and then parabolic. Now how to calculate this YF? So IS 456/2000 gives us a ready-made, tailor-made formula for this. YF is written as 0.65 times DF where df is the depth of the flange. So if I were to mark df, this distance is df. So in this particular case, df is 120 mm. 0.65 df plus 0.15 times xu. Xu is location of neutral axis at failure for a given section. So in this particular case, as we are aiming for balanced section, I will replace this by XUB. Mind you, in general, it is XU. But as we are aiming for balanced section, I am going to replace it by 0.15 times XUB, provided this value is less than equal to DF. So let us calculate the value of YF in our case. The value of YF is 0.65 times depth of flange, which is 120 mm, plus 0.15 times 240, which is the location of neutral axis at failure if we design steel on tension side to make this section balance. This is equal to 114 mm, which is less than 120 mm, which is the flange thickness df. So as per IS 456-2000, this T section is converted into equivalent T section, which has flange width of 700 mm, flange depth of YF equal to 114 mm, effective depth of 500 mm, that remains unchanged. Therefore, we can now assume 0.446 FCK to be constant over entire YF, and then the parabolic stress variation in concrete commences. The next thing that we should do now is to compute the ultimate compressive force at the time of failure for this section being designed as balanced section. So therefore, I need to compute now CUB, ultimate compressive force for this section to be designed as balanced section. Now we can see that the width of the cross section on compression side is varying from 700 mm to 230 mm. Let us say this beam width is 230 mm. So the width of the cross section on compression side is varying from 700 mm to 230 mm, and therefore we cannot use the standard formula 0.36 FCK BXU in to write down the ultimate compressive force. So what are we going to do? We will split this cross section on compression side into two parts. The first part has the dimensions 230 cross XU, where XU is the location of neutral axis. And as we are aiming for balanced section, I will write it as XUB. And the other part has dimensions 700 minus 230 multiplied by depth of flange, which is now YF, so into YF. Now I will consider the contribution of 230 into XUB portion of this cross section on compression side. So as this is the rectangular section and it is subjected to parabolic and rectangular stress block. For this rectangular section on compression side, we can use the traditional equation that we have derived. So I will write it as 0.36 FCK. FCK is 20 here. 0.36 FCK B, but width of beam. So we denote this by notation BW. So BW, which is width of beam, BW multiplied by 0.36 FCK BW multiplied by XU, but XUB is known. XUB in our case is 240. So I will simply write it as 240 here. 0.36 FCK BW into XUB plus, in this, now we will add the contribution of 700 minus 230 into YF. So what is the contribution? So if you look at 700 minus 230 into YF, its contribution will be 0.446 FCK into that area, because over the entire flange we are going to have same value of compressive stress, that is 0.446 FCK. So I can safely write this contribution as 0.446 FCK YF multiplied by 700 minus 230. You know this 700, we call it as width of flange and the notation is BF. So it is in fact BF minus BW. FCK is 20 here. BW is 230 here. This is XUB. FCK is 20. YF is 114 here. So let us work out how much is this compressive force. So CUB, that is the ultimate compressive force for a balanced section, will work out to be 875373 Newton. Now question is, where does this compressive force act? So if you look at the compressive force provided by flange area 700 minus 230 into YF, over this entire area which is shaded in red color, the stress is constant, that is 0.446 FCK. So therefore it is going to act at the centroid of this constant stress block, and that happens to be at distance YF by 2. So this distance is YF by 2. Whereas if you look at this rectangular portion marked in green, on this portion the entire stress block is going to act, and therefore compressive force offered by this rectangular portion marked in green is going to lie at a distance 0.42 XU, and as XU is XUB here, I will write it as 0.42 XUB. So now let us write down the moment of resistance of this cross section if it were to be designed as balance section. So how do I write moment of resistance? To write moment of resistance, I have to do CU or TU into lever arm, but here CU takes its contribution from the area shaded in red and the area shaded in green. So we will have corresponding lever arms. You have to understand that for both this compressive force contribution, the tensile force, however, is provided at the same location, and it is at the centroid of tension steel. So it is at the distance D from extreme compression fiber. So it is at distance 500 mm 500 mm from extreme compression fiber. So this steel level is at distance 500 mm from extreme compression fiber. So let us now write down moment of resistance of balance section MURP will be equal to, its first contribution will come from the compressive force over the area which is shaded in green that acts at distance 0.42 XUB from extreme compression fiber. So therefore the lever arm corresponding to it is going to be D minus 0.42 XUB. So therefore MURB, I am going to write it down as 0.36 FCK, that is 20, multiplied by BW, which is 230, multiplied by XUB, that is 240, multiplied by its lever arm, which is D minus 0.42 XUB. So what is D here? 500 minus 0.42 into XUB, which is equal to 240. Plus, now let us write down the contribution from compressive force offered by the area shaded in red. So its contribution is 0.446 into FCK, that is 20, multiplied by YF, that is 114, multiplied by 700, that is BF, minus 230, that is width of wave, this multiplied by its lever arm. So what is the lever arm for this compressive force? It acts at distance YF by 2 from extreme compression fiber. The distance up to the tension steel is D, that is 500 mm. So lever arm is going to be 500 minus YF by 2. So 500 minus YF, which is 114, by 2. This is the lever arm for this compressive force. So if we evaluate this, we get MURB to be equal to 370.38 kilonewton meter. So we have now two values for this cross section. One is its ultimate compressive force and second one is its moment of resistance. Now, how do we calculate the area of tension steel required? So for area of tension steel required, I am going to equate this Cu with Tu, and as it is for balance section, I am going to write it as Tub. So what is the value of Tub? It is going to be equal to 0.87 into Fy, which is 415, multiplied by AST. So what is the value of AST that we get? And I'm going to write this as ASTB because we are aiming the section to be balanced section. So therefore, the value of ASTB works out to be equal to 2425 mm square. So we have got two parameters for this T section. One, what is its moment of resistance if it is designed as balanced section, that is 370.38 kilonewton meter, and corresponding value of area of tension steel is 2425 mm square. Now to get more insight into the characteristic of flange section, let us calculate MURB and ASTB for a section of same effective depth, same width of beam, but considering it as a rectangular section. That means by neglecting the contribution of slab. So I am considering the rectangular cross section with width equal to 230 mm, which is equal to the width of wave or width of beam in this flange section, and the depth is equal to, effective depth is equal to 500 mm. Now, moment of resistance of this rectangular section turns out to be RUB into BD square. For M20 and Fe415, we have RUB equal to 2.76. So it is 2.76 into 230 into 500 square, which turns out to be 158.7 kilonewton meter. Area of steel for this rectangular section to be a balanced section is 0.96 by 100, which is the percentage of tension steel for balance section, multiplied by 230 into 500, which is the effective cross section. This turns out to be 1104 mm square. So we make striking observations. Observation number 1. If I were to design this beam by deriving assistance from slab, its moment of resistance as balance section is substantially higher than moment of resistance of this section if it were to be considered as rectangular section. It is almost 2.5 folds than moment of resistance for rectangular section. Similarly, if it is considered as flange section, then we can provide almost double the area of balance steel in comparison with the rectangular section. So let us summarize. Today, we took the same cross-sectional dimension T section as in previous short video, and we tried to calculate its moment of resistance if it were to be designed as balance section. Then we understood that to make it balance section, we have stress distribution on compression side in such a fashion that 0.446 FCK does not remain constant over the entire flange because the flange depth was greater than 3 by 7 XUB. So in such case, we transform this T section into an equivalent section having rest of the dimensions same except for depth of the flange. We came up with equivalent depth of flange YF such that over which I can assume 0.446 FCK to be constant, and the parabolic stress variation starts below the bottom of the flange. Then we derived its moment of resistance. Moment of resistance of T section designed as a balanced section turned out multifold times moment of resistance of rectangular section with same effective depth. If we compare area of tension steel that can be provided to make the section balance for T section and rectangular section with same effective depth as T section, we found that the area of steel that makes T section balance is multifold times than that of rectangular section of same effective depth. So with this, we will stop today. Thank you.